11 years ago, my daughter, then 5 years, comes running to me, and with absolute bubbling enthusiasm, she comes and tells me, Nana, I'm acting in a drama. It was her annual school day function, and she's been selected to play a part. Not as a queen, not as a princess. Her role was a tree. That's right. All she had to do in the drama was stand behind as a backdrop and sway for the entire duration of the drama. Not the best of roles, but for her, it was a huge deal. And she comes and says, Nana, the event is happening this Wednesday at 3 o'clock, and she really, really wanted me and my wife to be out there. Of course, the answer is, of course, I will be there. Unfortunately, though, that very same day, the venture capitalist investor who invested in our company $10 million had come in to do his annual performance appraisal. If you'd ever worked in a corporate company, you would know how severe the situation is that day. It's a very important day. The choice was easy. In fact, I didn't even have to make a choice. The choice was already made for me. I spent the entire day through grueling sessions out there answering tons of questions from the investor. I missed my child's play. Late into the night, I walk into my home. My kid, 5-year-old kid, was still awake. She was not hangry. I really expected her to be angry, but even worse, she was deeply sad. I could never get myself to look into her sorrowful eyes. And then a spark came in my head. What is the purpose of all this? What's the purpose of going and slogging it out in this corporate world? What am I earning for if I can't even be at my little daughter's school play? That set me apart on a journey to go and really find out the true value of balance in life. Instead of seeking money, can we seek happiness? And so I set on two very interesting projects. The first one is a project called Charge. Charge is another name for commencement speeches or graduation speeches. You know, these very well-known universities around the world, your Harvards and the Stanfords and the Cambridges and the Oxfords and the IITs and the IIMs, all invite movers and shakers. These are big-time CEOs, Nobel Prize-winning scientists, and Oscar and Grammy Award-winning actors and singers to come ahead and really talk about their life journey. They concise their 30, 40-year life experience into short 15 to 18-minute nuggets. And I found them to be absolutely inspiring. So I ended up watching about over 600 of these commencement speeches, and I really took down key life lessons. The second project is called Unkick the Bucket. Kick the bucket means to die. Unkick the bucket means not just live, but live ceremoniously. You truly celebrate life. And I found a very interesting set of people who had a very different view of life. And these are people who have had near-death experiences. People who have had terminal cancer, but somehow they went on to beat it to live a second life. Someone who's met a gory, gruesome accident, multiple bones broken. They should have died, but by some fate of luck, they survived. Or people who have had a cardiac arrest, had to go through quintuple bypass surgeries, and they continue to live. And I noticed something common across all these people. These are people who really treasure their second chance at life. They value their second life. They are no longer worried about pleasing the world. They are out there to live a life true to their priorities and live a life pursuing their passion. And I found that very inspiring. So I compiled my life lessons across these two, and I decided to distill in 3 life lessons that I wanted to share in this talk. The first one is all the achievers around the world, they are very clear in what they want to do in their life. They have figured out what we call as the bucket list, the things that they want to achieve before they die. And having that clarity of vision of what they want to achieve really spells the way how they will conduct the rest of their life. Every year, at my 13-acre farm, it's a beautiful farm in a very remote village, surrounded by greenery, and for the next 3 kilometers radius, there's not a single house nearby. I conduct what's called the bucket list boot camp. Handpick about a dozen people to come forward to think of our bucket list goals. And it's very interesting. You know, we are all very good at setting short-term goals, but very rarely do we set long-term goals. And once we have that clarity on what we want to do, it really changes our entire perspective on how we live our day-to-day life. So my request to you is, ask yourself, do you have a bucket list? If not, can you write one? Can you list down all the things that you want to do before you die? My second takeaway, think long-term goals. We overestimate what we can achieve in a day, and we completely underestimate what we can achieve over 1 year, 5 years, and 20 years. You know, it's no wonder our New Year resolutions is otherwise called as the to-do list for the first week of January. You know, but it's very important for us to pursue these long-term goals. And the best way to pursue long-term goals is to keep chipping at it little by little, every single day, consistently. I think that is a very powerful lesson I learned. And I want to narrate a personal experience. On December 31, 1999, I was walking on the promenade in Pondicherry, the beach road. And I had a small ruled notebook with a pencil. And I started to list down all the things I want to achieve in the next decade. And in that long list, I distinctly remember one of my lists was to become a published author, to write a book. And for the next 9 years, I miserably failed at it. Every single year, my New Year resolution will have a constant item called must author a book this year. And that's an item that never got scratched out. And after 9 years, I really started to doubt myself. I was the editor of my college magazine. I started writing a column in a national newspaper the year I passed out of college. All my friends said, "Hey, you have the gift of gab." But who was I fooling? I couldn't write a damn book. So I self-invited myself into a house of an 81-year-old wise gentleman who has authored 27 books. Because by God, I wanted to figure out how he did it. So I went to him and I really poured my heart out and I said, "You got to help me, sir." And then he gave me an example that I will never forget. And he told me, "Hey, Kiruba, you are trying to roll up a family-sized pizza and you're trying to shove it down your throat. That's not the way to eat a pizza. The way to eat a pizza is to cut it into 8 slices. Take one slice, take a bite of that slice, chew it, relish it, let that taste linger around your mouth. Enjoy that feeling, swallow it, relish that moment, then go ahead and take a next bite." And that's how you finish a pizza. And then a light bulb, bang. Gosh, no wonder he's a wise guy. And exactly 3 months from that conversation, I published my first book. What I couldn't do for 9 long years, I got it done in 3 months. So the key out here to do is to achieve your long-term goals, is to keep attacking this little by little, consistently, every single day. That's my second tip. My third one is you've got to involve your family into your goals. All of us, we spend about 8 hours a day at work, but you actually spend twice that time at home or with family. So the harmony that you have at home will have a huge say in how your life really takes shape and how happy you are. And that's why it's very important for you to include them as part of your long-term goals. One of my goals is to travel the world around. There are about 200 plus countries. Before I die, I want to visit at least 100 countries. And I figured a good way to do that is to get my 2 daughters and ask them, hey, where would you love to travel? And they go on this journey of trying to figure out a country that catches their fancy. And then once they've chosen one, ask them, so what would you love to do once you visit this country? And they go on this amazing search and journey. And then when I travel with my family, I am actually achieving one of my goals, but look at how involved my family is, my kids are. It's no longer my goal, but it is theirs for the taking. A second one is I always wanted to have a farm. I come from a picture postcard village. I come from a family of farmers, a generation of farmers. And I wanted to ensure that we never lose track of our roots, our farming roots. But we lived most of our life in the city, and it's very easy for kids to lose track. So what did I do? I found my kids love animals, and now they are in charge of all farm animals at the farm. Cows, goats, ducks, chickens, a donkey. And they decide these animals to bring. They name newborn babies. And they have this strong attachment. My wife loves to grow vegetables. My mom loves fragrant flowers. My dad loves tinkering with cars. So we set up a shed. For my mom, we set up an area where she can grow all the flowers, different flowers from around the world. And there's a beautiful kitchen garden that my wife tends to. And now suddenly, it is not just my goal of having a farm, it's really a family. And then every time you go there, there's just so much happiness. I think if you want to really achieve your goals, I would strongly advise, how can you rope in your family? I got a very startling statistic. The Ministry of Family Affairs, Government of India, has a statistic that the average longevity of an Indian is 69 and a half years old. That's right. A male Indian lives on an average of 69 and a half years. For ease of calculation, let's round it up to 70 years. This June, I turned 45. That leaves me with 25 years. Multiply by 365 days, I have a little less than 9,100 days. That's right. My days are numbered. Why would I want to live somebody else's life? Why would I want to chase somebody else's dream? I think it's very important that your days are numbered too, that we really crack every single day. We live life that we thoroughly enjoy. We do things that give us deep joy. And the only way you will do that is by figuring out your true priorities. Let's go live a life, not just a life. Let's give a honest, well-balanced, happy, kick-ass life. Thank you very much.
Tell us what you think about this video and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.